On today's show, we give you 4 ways you can create music and videos without lifting a finger.
This is 30-Minute Music Marketing.
30-Minute Music Marketing for musicians who want to get better at marketing their music.
Okay, hi, I'm Greg.
Hello, I'm Sheldon, and this is 30-Minute Music Marketing, the show for independent artists and DIY musicians who want to get better at marketing their music, lockdown or no lockdown.
It's very confusing at the moment, isn't it?
We live in a topsy-turvy world, and this particular topic came to me because I think at this particular moment in time, Greg, we are about 3 months into lockdown, and gigs, normal gigs in inverted commas, are still a long way away. And I think very much that the majority of people who listen to this podcast and watch our show, they're divided probably into two very distinct camps. There's going to be lots of solo musicianists who have probably been hammering the live streams pretty much each and every week, maybe multiple times a week for the past sort of 12 weeks or so. And maybe they're feeling a little bit of burnout. You can only play your own songs and indeed so many, covers so many times. Or you could be like myself, you could be in a band. And because there's lots of people in your band, you've never really been able to fully get together in order to actually create content. And maybe you've tried to do one of those videos where everybody plays their parts individually and you try and sync them all up, and maybe it's been recorded on a phone and the audio quality has not been that sort of great. So you've either got content burnout, or you're at a stage whereby really it's 3 months in and you need to be pushing new music and maybe new music videos onto your socials, and you don't really have an easy way of doing that.
No.
So I thought I'd come up with 4 ways that, almost as if by magic, new songs or new versions of songs and new music videos could appear without you almost lifting a finger. Maybe there will be the odd finger lift here and there. Maybe that title was a bit clickbaity and a bit misleading, but they can't sue us, Greg. They can't sue us.
Yeah, there's nothing to sue for.
Yeah, I've got 4 ideas that will take the pressure off you as a musician, allow you to utilize other things to create content which you can use to market yourself and your music. So we've got 4 of those, Greg. So what's the first one that I've
the first one? You trust you to pick one where I've now said it, so I can't actually see my screen. Just give me a second. It was.
Yeah, I've got my notes.
Yeah, I know, but you're posh and you can print out paper.
Yes.
I do remember one of them. I just don't know if I don't want to put it in the wrong order.
Shall I? While you go through your phone, and because I'm...
No, I've got it. Right. Okay, the first one was right. Okay. And I've suggested this to people before, and I think even you've done it for other people, and it's get someone to remix your existing material.
Yes. So remixes are great simply because they allow your music, whatever genre your music is, it allows it to, to change and to move into another genre. The remixer / EDM artist probably has a fan base of their own, so it opens up your music to an entirely different sort of fan base. So I think it fills, it ticks 2 particular boxes, and it allows you to have new music content, as I say, without lifting a finger.
So
go on.
In this context, how would you present it? So as in, would you put stems up on your website and then you would put a social media post saying, I put the stems up and open it up to anybody? Or would you purposefully choose someone?
You could do both. I mean, it depends in terms of your fan base, who those people actually know. I mean, most people would sort of know in and around either their locale or through means of networking. They'll probably know someone who's a bit of an EDM dance electronic artist who they can approach themselves. It just depends whether it's through. I know in the past, I think I've offered stems of my particular music, and yeah, I've just offered it up to people and said, "Ew, if anybody, if anybody knows anybody or anybody's a bit of a dabbler themselves, they can download it." And I never had any submissions sort of that way. So it just depends what circles.
Right, okay.
You potentially mix with, and it may well be that the stems are or the samples are already on your computer or can be easily exported. I mean, we don't know what particular setups people have at home, or it could well be that you might need to approach the studio where you recorded your music and maybe ask them to dig out the sessions, and that may well be that just creating the stems creates a bit of an expense, just in terms of getting a producer or an engineer to create those stems, whereas those stems might not have actually existed before. But I think if you contact most studios at the moment, they'll be glad of the work, won't they, Greg?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I've known with a lot of artists that I've followed for years, they've always kind of made sure that this was already in their plan. So they kind of did it as they went along. So I would suggest to anybody of that, this should be part of your armory in terms of getting your stuff out there anyway. So if you're not doing it currently, I would certainly be organizing that within your schedule from now on.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just an easy way to create music, and it doesn't even need to be, officially released on Spotify. It could just go on your SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But it just gives you almost, I won't say free music, because you might necessarily pay somebody a little retainer, or give them some money for a bit of a buyout. And I know lots of people just like doing it, and might do it for you as a bit of a favor, and B, just to stretch their artistic muscles. But it's just music that is created, which will probably give the original music a different slant.
Yeah,
and it's a release of whatever form that you don't necessarily have to do anything with. I mean, a week on Friday, my band has got the first single, I think, that we've had out for goodness knows how long. And again, that is I'm practicing what I preach. It's a remix because we've not been able to get back into the studio as of yet. But it gives, it creates a little bit of excitement within your fan community, because you have got a new release on the horizon, whereas I didn't have one before. So I think remixes are great.
So that's number one. Get friends, colleagues, peers, remix your tunes.
The DJ from down the road. Who knows who it is?
So, right, okay, people, we've done fancy ones, we've done simple ones. Get someone to create a lyric video.
Now, the first thing I've put down here in my notes is I don't see a lot of artists doing, or DIY artists doing lyric videos. Why do you think that is, Greg?
Because they're lazy.
Is it because they're a little bit fiddly to do?
They can be. It depends. I mean, if you're going down the route of doing it in After Effects, yeah, it's very, very time consuming. But at the same time, seeing you do them just in Final Cut and just typing the words over and stuff, I guess it comes down to, if you have a basic video editor and you have a little bit of skill, they're not that difficult. But if you don't, then yes, then it could become unachievable.
Yeah, I think certainly with I think it's easy to do an easy lyric video, and yes. I think it gets progressively harder if you want something with all the bells and whistles on. And the thing about a lyric video is that you can do a lyric video for something that isn't necessarily a full-scale sort of single. If you've got a favourite album track or something that's on an album that a lot of your fans particularly like, which has never been a single, something like a lyric video might be something nice to do to give it a particular focus. And again, it's content for your socials.
Well, you did them for live videos. So you've kind of done live videos and then just done the vocals over them, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken one camera live recordings, and because it's a little bit sort of dull, I've sort of created them into half live, half lyric videos, just to give it a little bit more sort of entertainment. And I think the thing is, if you think something like creating a lyric video, it might be out of your technical expertise, something like Fiverr and turning to the artists on Fiverr is a great thing to do. I've done a bit of research in terms of the pricing that most people charge, probably ranging something in the region of between $20 and $50, there or thereabout. That's not particularly, it's not out of most people's pockets. That's reasonable.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, no one's been able to buy any beer at pubs. So they should have been able to save some money, because it's been pretty difficult to spend it unless you like queuing out shops as of Monday. So in terms of, I mean, I did see on a post somebody wrote on one of our videos saying that Fiverr wasn't particularly good value for money. I don't know what their experience is of it, but I know you've used it, I've used it, other clients of mine have used it, and I think as a platform, it's great.
I've been doing a bit of research. I might need some female backing vocals for a particular project, and there are people on there. I mean, they might have varying degrees of skill, and you might, I think, necessarily need to do a bit of research to find the person that particularly matches your project. But I think I can get somebody to do some session backing vocals for me, who I think is of a reasonable sort of quality, and I think it'd be about $50, which is all right. It's certainly less than it would be to get what I would refer to as a traditional session singer on the case.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Fiverr, the people on there, they don't adhere to musician union prices, so it becomes. I mean, you pretty much will find anybody on there within, that will be within your budget. Quality and budget don't always necessarily match up, but you will find someone for your budget.
Yeah, and the idea is always to do the necessary sort of research and have a look at the sample work provided by the people who are advertising themselves on the platform, and also check how many revisions that you might be able to get, whatever service it is that you need. But I just think a lyric video, people do watch them. This we know, and if you can, again, just a modest amount of money could give you a nice little music video, and to tide you over. And again, you're paying a modest amount. You're not lifted. I've not lifted my finger yet, Greg. No. My finger has not been lifted.
You haven't had to, and also you're learning. So you're learning, and you haven't had to lift a finger. So, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, actually, most major artists, certainly within the pop domain, will do a lyric video as well as a main video, as well as a narrative videos.
As soon as the actual single is released, they will drop the lyric video first and allow time for that, the interest in that to dissipate, and then maybe 2 weeks later after release, that's when you actually drop your proper music promo video, just to extend the life of the release, by two, almost, like 2 weeks for your lyric video, 2 weeks for your music video, and then you've got a whole month of interest,
and you've got effectively twice the royalties because it's been listened to in more than one place. So and YouTube still shouldn't be underestimated as a music listening platform.
It's where everybody goes to listen to your tunes. Oh, it's where the most people do anyway.
Yeah. So there you go. Number 2, get someone to create a lyric video. Fiverr, that is where it's at. So we're on to this. So number 3. So another one to do music, to do with videos. You're on the video thing today, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's create a music video using Rotor. So go on, Sheldon.
Now,
I've never heard of this.
You're right. Well, you're not familiar with Rotor.
No.
Imagine a online non-linear video editing platform that works from AI and basically does it all automatically for you. So in other words, you upload your music.
Is it a bit like a website designer where you just kind of type in some keywords and then it presents something that might be what you like?
Yeah, if you can imagine a version of Premiere on Final Cut that's a bit like Wix. So you upload...
Yeah, I'm well suited to that one. Yeah, go on, carry on. You've got my attention.
Okay, right. So if you can imagine, you upload your music, you might select a particular style, sort of a preset style, theme. Now, you can upload your own clips and use a combination of what I would call stock footage clips.
Yeah.
Or you can use entirely stock footage. And I said from these themes, it will blend, it will blend them. It will do, depending on which preset you've done, cuts to the beat. And, dare I say, you might need to lift said finger to drag a few things round on a mouse. But the idea is that it will create a music video for you. You don't necessarily need a non-linear video editor on your computer or at your disposal. It's sort of semi pretty much automatic. And again, you can tweak what the computer has automatically done for you, and then do a render. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that it's going to create a music video that is going to win an MTV award, but I think the pricing, again, depending on the plan that you choose, it might be something in the region of about $30.
Is that for like a 12-month subscription, or is that a one-off?
That's I think per video.
Okay.
Again, there's different sort of plans. I think you can create a one-off video. You can create a certain amount of videos per month, and there's an unlimited plan, which I would probably only be using if you were an actual sort of record label itself, because I think it's crazy money. But I think on average for one video, it works out at about $30, which if you compare that against the price of somebody shooting you a full music promo, it's a fraction, isn't it, Greg? It's buttons.
Okay. But question for you though. Have you actually seen the results?
I have seen the results, and again, it's not what I'd call a superlative award-winning video, but if you're trying to create content to engage your audience as a bit of a sort of a stopgap, it's all right. It's all right. I might even give it a bit of a go myself for some of the stuff that I've got upcoming for my other dance electronic offshoots. And maybe I would say that it does favour some genres more than others. And what you have to remember is that if you've got stock footage clips, then it's like, well, if you're not in the video, how is your music going to be represented by stock footage clips? Or again, you might need to... It's probably worth uploading some existing either, sort of live footage or footage of yourself and creating a blend of the two.
I mean, on that basis, I mean, just even with like a smartphone these days, and, even some of the optical, not optical, but the digital image stabilization that they're starting to add as software, you can come away, as long as you think about light. I mean, that's the thing. If you're trying to do it all dark, in the dark, it's going to look crap. But if you use the light and stuff in terms of with your phone, it will, I think most people would be surprised at the quality you can get from a phone.
Very much so. There has been several music videos that I've done using nothing but my phone. It's just so easy. And you say the end result is so good. I mean, I've only got an iPhone 6, and that still amazes me, the quality on that. And having seen, the iPhone X, it's like an IMAX camera.
So I mean, I've been using my Insta360 1R, and because it's gone through, because it's I've used it with the software on my iPhone. I did AirPlay to my TV. So, this is a completely just all edited within the phone. And I was just like, whoa, it just basically, the quality from that little, basically it's an action camera filming in 4K on a big television with no post, literally just done within the app. It was unreal. And, you know, actually I've mentioned this before, but I think it's pronounced Cinemaster, but it's spelt with a K, which is a editing app, certainly for Android. I'm not sure if I presume can you still get iMovie for an iPhone?
I think it comes automatically as part of your phone OS.
Right. So on that basis, there are things out there for you to already create footage to supplement things like Rotor. And you're right. I think if you were only to do one just with the stock footage, it might not have the, you know, if you can blend it with stuff that you've done yourself with a phone, happy days.
Mm.
I look forward to seeing your result with that.
That's Rotor. That's a service that will produce a pretty much an automatic music video for whatever music you throw at it without you having to do, well, virtually anything whatsoever. That'd be nice.
That's good. I will be checking that one out myself, probably for a project that I'm working on. So I've learned something.
Oh, yes,
today,
of course,
Sheldon.
your secret projects.
Yeah. So, right, moving on to number 4. How many were there in total? Was it 4 or was it 5?
It's only 4. 5 would have been great, but
no, 4. You know, it's better than the magic number. It's one up from that.
See, people at home only need to do one of these, and that's it. Yeah. Content ahoy!
So this is probably something that some of the people have been doing for the last 3 months, and now it's time to pass the baton and get other people to cover your music.
Get other people to cover your music. So if you're doing lots of live streams, then you will probably be doing lots of covers yourself within those live streams. So why not contact a local musician friend and just say, look, is there any chance you could get your phone out and you could do a cover of one of my songs? And then you could take that video and then go, oh, right, here's local musician friend of mine, Joe Blogs, and he's doing a cover of my song XYZ. Here it is. So in other words, people will like an interesting take on one of your existing songs, which you haven't done. And maybe what you need to do to Joe Blogs is say, look, for you next month, I'll cover one of yours. Yeah. So it might be a quid pro quo. But I just think that's a nice, easy way. And again, it's that collaboration. So you could say to Joe Blogs, look, by you putting your own spin on one of my songs, it advertises you to, you know, my audience. Yeah. And we could do that. And so you're introducing another artist to your audience, so potentially they could grow themselves. And I just it's something that I haven't necessarily whenever people do, you know, I've seen covers certainly of late. People always tend to by default go for the bigger artists in whatever music they're covering. I've never seen anyone do, right, I'm doing a local music special. So as we always say, we live in St Helens, which is betwixt Liverpool and Manchester. I've never heard anyone go, right, I'm going to do a cover. This is just on like a stream. Right, I'm going to do lots of covers of unsigned band or DIY artists from Liverpool or DIY artists from Manchester. Everybody always defaults for the big hitters. And I think it would serve the community well just to go, right, well, I'm going to do a cover of yours for you, and you can do a cover of mine. And by cross-posting those videos, everybody's
it raises the local awareness as a board, which I think is important. And also, if you've done the lyric video, they'll know the lyrics, so you don't even have to write them down.
You're thinking all the time, Greg. You're thinking all the time. We should get you on the show more often. Oh no, it's your show, isn't it?
I just need sugar. I've run out of sugar, Sheldon. It's not good.
Sorry, but the thing to remember is, as with all these things, it's not necessarily about working yourself into the ground. It's all about working smart. And just thinking you don't necessarily have to do it all yourself. You can pay a modest amount, especially in this day and age, and get other people to do services for you. And that's where something like Fiverr comes in handy, because there's all these people offering little services. So, it might cost you a modest amount of outlay, but it stops you having to do all the work yourself, which,
the only thing
is a good thing.
The only thing I can say is that there possibly is a generation that haven't paid for anything. So the idea of paying something might seem a bit Not too sure. But as you rightly said, if you compare the generation before that, who had to pay a lot for anything,
That's us.
we're kind of going, well, I don't really see the problem. But, so it's just a case of just because some things have been free doesn't mean that, it's not sustainable. So,
And
spending a little bit is worthwhile.
as with all these things, it's all about getting back to the old topic again. It's either time or money. So you could create a music video, but the amount of time that it might take you in order to get yourself up to that particular skill level, it might take you absolutely ages, and it might well be worth just paying somebody $40 to do one for you. And with the 10 or 15 hours that might have actually taken, you could crack on and do something more worthwhile, or more spiritually enlightening.
I guess it's like bands who decide I'm going to build a recording studio in my own garage. And it's like, okay, and then they come and ask me about soundproofing. And it's just like, oh, I'll just use some gym mats. That's aimed at you, Alex. As if that's going to work for soundproofing. It's like...
And how hot are you on actual, audio engineering? Ooh.
Yeah, suddenly doing both roles.
Yes, do you know how to deal with comb filtering? Probably not.
So, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, mic phase cancellation. Oh dear.
So, in terms of you're right. In terms of, yes, you could attempt to do everything yourself, but is that the best use of your time? And most, the funny thing is, I bet most people would actually charge more by the hour if they were to do it themselves than what they would spend, not even taking into account they need the resources to do it. So, that's where I find the irony, but. Hopefully they'll see the good of it.
Yeah, no. If you think about something like Fiverr, if you can pass the job onto somebody who is doing this day in, day out, they will hopefully A, fly through it, and B, be able to rattle it off in absolutely no time, and they will do a better job than you could do. It'll be much, much quicker. And the idea is that you're not working yourself into the ground. I do know lots of people who, through lockdown, they've thrown themselves into content creation, and they are at risk now of burning out. And I think now is the particular time. I have
seen people kind of saying, "Oh, it's about these online gigs. I'm bored of it now." I am starting to see posts like that, because you're right. I think people have just regurgitated basically the same, not the same performance, but the same platform again and again and again.
I don't know whether you've noticed in your things like Facebook feed that there isn't as many people playing live as there was maybe a month, 6 weeks or so ago, because there was a time when pretty much every second post was somebody doing a live stream, or it was their live stream from the night before. I think that has pretty much sort of petered out, which is why I really thought we'd get round to doing this particular show, because it's almost like we have to start to drift back towards normality, even though, like you say, we can't get back to normality. So just picking some fresh ideas, creating some old style content that almost like the type of thing that you would have been doing had we not had a lockdown. I think that it's almost like I think we're in some. It might be another 6 months or so, but we're in very much a transitional period of trying to get back to where we were, and something like these sorts of videos, this sort of content, is the ideal music and video to do that.
So there you go. 4 great ways of how to get your music out there without raising a finger.
Without raising a finger. And again, you only need to do one of them, Greg. Just pick your favourite.
I'm going to go definitely check out Rota.
Pick a favourite track, whack it over to the lasses and lads on Fiverr, and see what they can do, and create a lyric video for it.
So from now on, please write in the comments, smash that subscribe button. I'm going to wait just so I know where to put the blooming subscribe button.
Yes, like the video, ring the bell, whatever that means. Tell people about the podcast. If you listen to the podcast, great. I think the podcast is absolutely so. You don't need to see our faces. Really, you don't need to see my lockdown hair.
I'm wearing a hat because isn't it funny when you ask someone for some help? Most of the time, you get nothing. When you're saying I'm in desperate need of a haircut, every person volunteers to give it a go. What's all that about?
Oh dear, I wouldn't necessarily know about that. That's how can they cut your hair if they can't get within 2 meters of you?
No, I think it's more the fact that, hey, I'll give it a go for a laugh. You're like, no, you can stay away. I'd rather trust my dog with a pair of shears.
Oh dear.
So, but anyway, we will see you. Hopefully, are these going to become a little bit more frequent than they have been?
I think so. I think again we're in a transitional period. I think maybe what I've been trying to think about is maybe okay as we come out of lockdown, maybe we need some sort of back to basics tutorial and maybe treat this particular period as right. Okay, no matter how long I've been a DIY musician, if we look at this from a point of right, well, what would I do if I was starting right now? I think that might be a good series for us to follow, rather than just picking sort of random things. That's my idea anyway. And again, if anybody out there has something they'd like us to chat about, type it in the comments, send us an email, whatever. We love your thoughts.
Okay, well, until next time, thank you for watching and listening on the podcast, and we'll see you soon.
Stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.